What's up, y'all? So, we are out here at the unit again, working on this damn thing. I got some wiring issues once again. I still haven't replaced my starter. I've been trying to do other stuff besides that. Got started working on my harness that I tucked under my dash here. I was just messing with it a little bit. As you can see, it's a huge mess in here. But basically, I just kind of shoved everything under my dash here on my wiring. And now I'm kind of just like yanking it out. Just to kind of, go over all my wiring. I took my stereo out just to make sure, my stereo isn't the one that's causing all the issues. My dash was blinking for a minute. I took the little center console off because I plan on replacing the ignition key switch. But before I start on that, I wanted to just, fiddle with my grounds here. I double checked the grounds that I have up in here under the dash. As you can see, I got all my grounds on this rail here. That's for my dash rail. I don't know what you call this thing, but that rail there. I got my grounds connected to there for my harness. I tried a few other spots like over here to reground the car, but now since I had done that, I'm not getting any electronics. Nothing is responding when I turn my key. Nothing, like no powers. I hear like a click. I think that's just my ECU clicking on, but I don't hear my ECU clicking on, but I don't hear any of my relays clicking. None of my accessories are on. Nothing, not even my boost gauge there. I don't know, my boost gauge, my boost controller, my dash lights. Nothing turns on besides my air fuel ratio, and that's just because that's got its own switch to power. But anything from the ECU back, nothing turns on here. So this is the Wiring Specialties Pro harness. I got this used from somebody. So as you can see, some things were cut out, spliced, and rerouted. So I ended up just doing my own power wire here directly to the power, which is not a good idea because it supplies constant power to the ECU, which you don't want when your car is off, because the ECU will stay on and that'll drain your battery. So you will definitely want to keep your power wire connected to your Pro harness. And then I have the ground on its own ground as well. But both of the grounds here on the ECU and both of the powers. That was only because the previous owner had all the switches and stuff, the manual switches. And so, that's a good idea. If you want to have its own power supply to the ECU, you want to add a switch to it. Ground can just be grounded. But that's what was done with that ECU from the previous owner. So now I'm left with this issue. But I think that pretty much solves it when you just have a power and ground for the ECU. As long as it's not draining any power, it should be good. The light turns on, but nothing clicks. No relays click on any side of my harness here. So today we are going to see about this switch here. I tried to do a little research first to see what was really going on. Some people were saying it's a starter. This is the white wire, and this fuse here, this gray fuse, 75 amp, is for your starter / alternator. So all my fuses are fine. I don't know if my relays went bad. I don't think so because I've replaced them before. None of the relays, not even the ECU relay off the power of the Pro harness, that doesn't even click or turn on. So the relays shouldn't be the issue at the moment. So I'm thinking, is my switch going out? I do, like I was saying, I need to replace that starter. So that might be something I do today. But I was gonna try to do the switch first, just to see if the switch is the issue. Maybe it's just going bad. I don't know. Maybe the starter's going bad. Maybe the switch is going bad. The internet was saying the alternator could be going bad. So luckily I do have all those parts sitting over here and all my junk. I'm gonna do the process of elimination and just start with the switch, see if that does anything, replace the starter, see if that does anything, and then maybe just replace the alternator. And if none of that works, we probably just gonna have to replace the whole harness itself, chassis harness. I'm pretty sure I'm getting all my power and all my ground needed for this. I do have a plan to use a ground block. I need to go through all my junk to see if I have that, but I will probably end up actually having my block, or having all my grounds locate to one block instead of having like 20 different grounds. The internet says that you could possibly have too many grounds and cause a ground loop or whatever that means. I'm pretty sure that's just like a ground short, or you just had too many grounds going on, the car is kind of confused. I don't know, something like that. Anyways, yeah, so I might just end up doing that, or I probably should, just to make it cleaner too, not just to like feel like I solved the issue, but to also, I do feel like I'm gonna solve the issue by making it cleaner for one, and possibly preventing a ground loop going on. So I'm gonna do my process of elimination first to kind of just make sure that it's not any of those parts. All my parts that I have to replace are new. My starter and my ignition switch from a hard body. See if that works. It should. They are pretty much both 240s. And then replace my starter. I have a new Mishimoto one, and also replace anything else that needs to be replaced. So we're gonna start there and see how this goes. So wish me luck. I'm ready to just drive this car, but it's kind of downtime right now. The season's kind of over. It's end of the year, so this is a good time to kind of just start cracking away, getting everything resolved here, so I can drive the next season with no issues. That is the goal for 2025, to drive all season, no issues. Besides the issues if I cause any, but I shouldn't have any issues with everything that I've already fixed and replaced. So that's the goal. So let's go ahead and get started. Oh, there's my Red Bull. Debating if I should drink this right now or not. I'm not really that sleepy. I had a lot of coffee at work, so probably not gonna use it, but we just gonna start wrenching away, I guess. Let's get to this nastiness here. Also wanted to show you guys on this side of the car here, aside from my nasty work that I did over there, the previous owner did his own nasty work down here. So I was gonna start replacing the ignition switch, but there's a splice here for whatever these are. I'm assuming to get power. I kind of forgot what they were, but yeah, so there's a lot of splicing and stuff going on here. I did add these two fuses here, so I guess I did part of my nasty work here. Also, all this stuff is just a mess down here as well. Sheesh. When I also crashed a car last year, this fuse box kind of just got smushed and it kind of cracked, so it kind of splits, but with all the fuses in, it holds together. So I don't think that's an issue on the fuse box thing. It's really just accessories on here and electronics that are my possible ignition. Maybe I should try that out. IG, I think that's what IG stands for. But I don't know. None of that. I don't think That could possibly be my issue here, because this whole thing just got smushed. The wheel, when I crashed, the wheel just smacked right into the wheel well here, and then pushed all this up, and then just squished all this here and cracked a bunch of stuff. Cracked that whole harness, but everything else seemed okay. But I did just kind of smush everything under. So, you know, wear and tear over time, this thing probably just wear it out. I do have this random green wire that popped out of its ground that I had here. Just a bunch of mess, bro, just mess. So I'm gonna start like cleaning it up here. Definitely add this ground just to see if that does anything, and then just kind of show you guys where I'm at from there. I don't know, I checked these fuses, they seem to be okay, none of them popped, but I don't know, maybe they could be loose. So I'm gonna just run through this one more time before I replace this ignition switch here. But just wanted to show you guys what was going on up down here, man. Like, this is just stressing me out just looking at it. So, all right, so I'm being pretty lazy. I do have a voltmeter over there, which I'll probably end up using after I replace the switch. If the switch is not the issue, I might just test this one. But yeah, I need to use a voltmeter to see if my switch works or not. But I did have this ground that was broken. As you can see, I fixed it with another connection, and this time I scrubbed the paint off there. Maybe that was causing me to have background. So battery's all plugged up again. Let me show you, since I haven't showed you guys this whole time, what happens when I put the key in. So I think at this point I should have accessories. Not even, like, my headlights turn on, but my cluster doesn't even turn on, and normally it does. So that's the headlight relay that you hear clicking. But now keys fully turned for when you crank it, and I'm getting nothing, no type of power, no clicks from the relays, just dead. So still haven't fixed my issue here. I have my voltmeter here to check continuity. I think I'm doing it right, but pretty much you just turn into your continuity settings here, and then check all the soldered connection pieces here on your ignition switch, and you should hear beeps on not the first setting. When you have it all the way off, you should hear it like once, and then you click to the second one, you should hear it in a few other of these, and then you click it to the cranking position, and most of these should be on. I think each of these pretty much mean, like, every time you switch it, they switch on something in the car, whether it be like your cluster, you know, your starter, relays, and all that stuff. So I hear all right, my continuity test beeps on all of those connections there. So the ignition might be okay. I've been watching a few videos, and people were saying that they were having issues with their starter, so, and also with the relays. I mean, we know those are like the three major things here that, you know, get this thing powered up. Aside from the ECU, I know I'm getting power from my ECU. As you can see, it's on. I have it bypassed directly to some power. You can see the ECU light is on, so I know my ECU is on. I'm just not hearing any interaction with my relay here. So I think I'm gonna just replace the starter first before I replace this ignition switch. We're just gonna do something for now and then just see what happens. I've never replaced my starter before. I've only took it off a few times to test it, but I think this time it's probably done. So I'm just going to replace it and see what happens. We'll start there. So yeah, wish me luck. All right. So excuse the mess under here, but you're gonna have to deal with it. So I'm under here under the car. I'm already noticing I'm missing a bolt here. Well, I'm missing a bolt right there on my alternator. So now I have this loose bolt. Alternator's not snug. So you see how far out this bolt is. It's supposed to be all the way in. Spins freely. So no bueno. But I mean, my alternator connections seem to be okay-ish. Everything seems to be there. So I got the 5-point ground harness in here with all this wiring junk. But as you can see, here's one of my grounding points right here. I had to strip the paint there and make sure my connection was decent. Then I have another one down here on the frame rail as well, both on the frame rail on the passenger side. So yeah, as you can see, this wire is loose, or I disconnected it. My finger's bleeding. Cut myself down here. But anyways, through all my wiring junk, here is my starter. Ooh, can you even see it? Yeah. Whatever. You get the point. So the starter's down here. Pretty simple, you know, the 2 bolts that hold it in, and then the wires. This little wire, then there's a big starter wire that goes up in there. Oof, I cannot. Whatever. You guys get the point. So about to replace this John right now. After hours and hours of BS, I found my problem. So this is why I hate wiring. So I had this connection here. I had soldered it in to the white wire here. I had it soldered into the white wire here, which is where my starter alternator connections are. Just to extend it. I did this like a year ago, but for some reason, I don't know, I think I still have bad grounds. But the wire was getting hot. It was melting basically, and so it melted to the point where it just became a bad connection. And so now the car cranks over and everything. What a stressful, useless time. But now I have figured out what my issue really is for now. So I'm gonna go ahead and rewire my ECU, clean up here a little bit, and probably start the car and just make sure. Let's see if I at least got rid of my backgrounds here. But pretty crazy, huh? Pretty crazy. So I spent some hours out here. I'm just fooling with it. Let me actually go ahead and see if my grounds actually are better. I did have a loose ground when I was going to replace my starter. I noticed there was a loose ground down there, so I tightened that up. But now my lights aren't blinking anymore. No flickering at all. So that's a good thing. Everything actually turns on now flawlessly. So pretty psyched about that. Yeah, everything turns on with no flicker. Oh, there's a flicker. Never mind. So I still have a background somewhere. Just gotta figure out where it's at. But you notice there's a flicker with my lights off. There's a flicker there. I think that's the same with my tails. Yeah, you can see my tails flickering. So I still have a background somewhere. Gotta chase that down. But yeah, everything's clicking over now just because of my simple yeah, very interesting. See, I'm gonna go ahead and clean up here a little bit. And I don't even know what to do now. I mean, I guess I'm semi-happy about that. But at the same time, I don't know, I still got backgrounds. So that's now my next step, but I at least figure something out. The car actually starts now with no connection issues. I replaced the starter with a other new one that I have. So hopefully that helps with turning it over every time instead of having to play with it a few times for it to turn on. I now don't know what to do with this hard body ignition switch. It is a little slightly different from the 241. There's like some back piece on there. I want to figure out what that's for, and if I need to run it or not, but we'll probably won't have to run it. But anyways, that was my day. I guess I can go take her for a spin tomorrow to the homies. Yeah, and see what he's talking about. So I guess I can drive around now. For now, I'm gonna just clean up a little bit and go ahead and continue on with the next steps. So that was my day. It actually turned out to just be a bad connection there. I guess it's a good thing that I was, troubleshooting everything. I still want to clean up my grounds, so I'll probably do that tomorrow, so I can try to figure out what's going on there. But other than that, I guess I'm a little satisfied. All right, so that's that for this episode. Stay tuned for what we got coming up next year, 2025, which is literally tomorrow. So yeah, man, this is gonna be pretty cool, pretty fun. It can be stressful sometimes, but bear with me. We're gonna get to the crazy fun here very soon. All right, y'all. Good night. All right, so now that I'm kind of wrapped up there in the shop for today, I'm not really sure what that. I mean, that was. I'm glad I kind of found the issue somewhat, but I just wanted to kind of touch on the fact that that wire, the white wire that does power to like the alternator and the starter, it wasn't getting hot when I was letting it idle. I'm gonna have to drive it around to kind of see if it still gets hot or anything. I'm not sure why it was getting hot. Maybe it was just bad connection, I don't know. But yeah, that didn't really solve the issue per se, because I still need to figure out how that even occurred. So now I need to I'm just gonna drive the car for now, see what happens. And how I got to that conclusion, that's why I was continuing to record. I got to that conclusion because I was using my test light. I have my voltmeter, but I decided to use my test light just to double check some things. And I noticed that there was a voltage drop, not at the connection, but like after the connection. Like right where the wire is, where the white wire is, where I had the connection to the red wire, where I burnt that, the wire that was burnt, the voltage dropped to like 9 volts, but the actual connection on the power block showed 12 volts. So I was a little confused. I was like, there shouldn't be like a voltage drop here, I don't think. But then it started to click that your car needs to have at least 12 volts to start, or to power up and all this stuff, and I was only getting 9 volts. So that just led me to the conclusion, or the solution, temporary solution, to how my car everything wasn't turning on pretty much. So now that I have that, I'm just going to trial and error still, figure out, if I can still drive the car this way until I make some future plans for a better wiring system. But yeah, so we'll probably drive the car tomorrow to the homies just to test and see what's really going on, and then continue on to some new stuff for the new year. So new year, same me, same car problems, same thing. But nah, yeah, for real, on a real note, like, we gonna lock in this year and actually have some cool stuff to show you guys. Now that I'm kind of minimizing the issues that I'm having, understanding things, learning things a little better, and being able to troubleshoot at a more efficient pace. So let's go ahead and close this out. We gonna have some more content for you guys real soon. So I'm pretty excited for this year. Pretty excited that I'm actually able to, continue to improve the car itself and improve my knowledge and skills. So yeah, stay tuned for all that's about to come, man. Y'all have a good night. Peace.